So good morning, everyone. So let's continue with today's session. So yesterday I covered methods and this local and global variables concept. Now let's move on to the next one, that is classes and objects. Okay, classes and objects. So this is very important topic, guys. Okay, everyone has to listen to this very carefully. It's a very important topic when compared to others, right? This is very, very important. Okay. So if you have to understand the object-oriented concepts of Java, definitely classes and objects is an important topic that you guys have to understand. As we already know, classes will enclose both variables and methods, right? Correct or not, guys? Classes enclose variables and methods. So what is the purpose of variables, guys? What is the purpose of the variables? What is the purpose of these variables? We know classes will contain variables and methods, but what? Yeah, store the data. Variables will store the data. Then what is the purpose of methods? What is the purpose of the methods then? If the purpose of the variables is to store data, then the purpose of the methods is to contain the programming logic. We'll write the programming logic inside methods. Can we write the logic outside the methods? No. Okay. Inside the methods only we have to write the programming logic, like addition method. If you create the logic for doing addition should be written inside addition method. Logic for writing multiplication will be written multiplication method, like that. The logic will be written inside the to write the programming logic. Yes, you guys are right, guys. Okay, to write the programming logic we need methods. To store the data we need variables, and both the variables and methods will be there inside what? Both the variables and methods will be inside what? Classes. Right, correct. You guys are perfectly following me. Okay, I can see that. Good to know that everyone is following the session properly. So now let's move on to the next thing, that is objects. I'll explain something about real interesting stuff, guys, objects, that you all guys have to listen to me carefully. You see, before I explain anything about objects, you have to understand something about real world entities. Real world entities. What does real world entities mean? It can be anything that you can see in the real world. Anything that we can see in the real world. Before me, I can see a lot of stuff, like, I can see a water bottle. Okay. I can see laptop. Okay. I can see mouse. Okay. I can see mouse pad. I can see a table. I can see a chair. Okay. I can see a mirror. Okay. I can see a photo frame. I can see a pen. I can see a book. Okay, anything that I can see in this real world. Okay, I can see some tree. Okay, if I go onto the road, I can see a lot of car. I can see a house. I can see a building. Right? I can see a lot of stuff outside. Right? Like outside, I can see a lot of things. Okay, I can see a shop. Many more things. All these things are known as what? Real world entities. Whatever the things that we see with our eyes in this real world are called as what, guys? Everyone type in the chat box. Whatever the real things that we see outside in this world are called as what? Like water bottle, laptop, pen, mouse pad, everything. Real world entities. Everyone has to type in the chat box what they are called. Real world entities. Everyone type. Yes, they are called as real world entities. Right, correct. So these are the examples of the different real world entities. Your examples may differ from my examples. Whatever you see in the real world may be different from whatever I see in the real world. Okay, right, fine. Now the challenge comes where if I want to represent any of these real world entities into Java programming. If I want to represent any of these real world entities into the Java programming, what I have to do? If I have to represent any of these real world entities in the Java programming, then what I have to do, guys? What I have to do if I have to represent any of these real world entities in Java programming? I have to create what? I have to create what? Yes, you are right, Rajkumar. We have to create objects. Okay. These real world entities can be represented in Java programming as what? Everyone type the answer in the chat box. These real world entities, if have to represent in the Java programming, we have to create what? Objects, which is very important. This is very important concept, guys. This is where the starts. Object oriented things stop. No one understands. Everyone explains object oriented like anything on the fly. It's not like that. The main concept is in Java programming, you can represent the real world entities. And in order to represent these real world entities, we have to represent them as objects. This is the main thing that everyone has to understand in Java programming. Okay. Here where the stuff starts, the real thing starts. Okay. Real world entities to be represented in Java programming, we have to create objects, guys. Okay. That's where we are going to create the objects. But how to create the objects is a question. But how to create the objects is the next question, right? How to create the objects? With the help of what we can create objects? With the help of what we can create objects? Anyone can answer? By using what we can create objects? Yes, class is the answer. Class is the right answer, guys. Without class, we cannot create objects. Okay? Without class, we cannot create objects. Why class is required to create the objects? That's a different thing. Okay? But in order to create objects, we need a class. So here, if I have to explain about class is a template. We can call it as a template, or we can call it as a blueprint, or we can call it as a factory for what? For creating what? Class is a template or blueprint or factory for creating what? Objects. Right, guys, right. Okay. Class is a template or blueprint or factory for creating objects. You see, first thing is that in order to represent all these real world entities, whatever the real world things that we see in this real world, to represent in the Java program, we need objects. But to create objects, we need class. And class will act as a template or a blueprint or factory using which we can create objects. That's what is the thing. Okay. Hope the things are clear so far. Class is a template, use it for creating objects. But how to use the class for creating the objects? I have to cover, right? So far clear, guys. So far the theory is clear. Just type C or S in the chat box if it is clear for you. Concept about class and object. It is clear for you. Type C in the chat box, guys. Okay, this is very important. Okay. Then let me open Eclipse IDE here. Meanwhile, so now I'm going to show you. The next question is what? I told you we have to use class as a template or blueprint or factory. Class is a template or blueprint or factory for creating objects. Okay. Objects are the representation of real world entities in Java programming. Okay. What are objects? If someone asks you, objects are the representation of real world entities in Java programming. What is class? Class is a template or blueprint or factory for creating objects. So or no. Okay. The relation between class and objects. But how to create? But how to create objects using this class? Using class, how to create objects is a question that I have to show you practically only, right? That I have to show you practically only. So let me open this Eclipse IDE and show you. Let's wait for the Eclipse IDE to launch. After that, I'll show you practically how to create objects with the help of the class. Okay. So a lot of new dimension of stuff will start today, guys. Today is very important class.
Why
Okay.
we should create object?
To represent the real world entities in Java program.
Means why we will represent? Any example, please?
That will come. That will come now. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Whatever the example, right? Why it is required and all, why we have to represent real world entities, what is advantage and all, you will see practically now. Okay, fine. Okay,
Yes.
so fine. So here is the stuff. We already have the project. We already are using from the long back. I'll just open that, and here I'll create a new package. Don't worry about packages. Packages I'll cover later. It's a very simple topic that will be covered later. But for now, for my purpose, I'm creating a package. I'll simply say class object classes, otherwise classes objects. Okay, I'll just create this package name. You see, whenever I'm creating a package, what is the naming convention I'm following? It's neither lower camel case, neither upper camel case. All the letters, whether how many words are there, multiple words also are there. Completely lowercase we have to give. Whenever you create a package, you have to give the entire lowercase letters. Okay, that you remember for a while. Now I'll create a class. Why I'm creating a class? Why I'm creating a class, guys? To create the objects. Okay. The purpose of me creating a class is to create a template using which I can create objects. Earlier, I was creating the classes to run some program with the help of main method, right? Earlier, I was creating the classes to run the Java programs with the help of main method. By writing some logic in the main method, I want to run the code. But now my purpose has changed. The purpose of creating a class now is to create a template using a class. I want to create a template using the class. That's the main purpose I'm heading towards. Okay. I'll just take one example of a class. Like I'll just give the name for the class as what? Car. Car is the name I'm giving for the class. I don't want to use main method. My purpose is not to run the code using main method. Rather, I want to create a template for this car class. Okay. I want to create a template for the car class. The moment I create this car template, I want to design or create. So how the template will be? What generally the car will contain? I have to create some variables. What does the class contain, guys? At a high level, what does the class contain? Class will enclose what? What does the class contain? Variables and methods that I'm going to create. In order to create the template of the class, inside the class, what I'm going to create? Variables and methods. With the help of variables and methods, I'm going to create a template for this car class. A realistic template I would like to create. String. String. First thing about car that we observe is car. I'll say company, right? Company, companies, car company. Then model, car model, right? To describe a car, we need a company, model, then double. What is the price of the car? Then double. What is the mileage of the car? What else? What else we can? String. What is the color of the car? Like this, we can create some. I can create any number of to describe this car. I can create a lot of variables, but I'll just stop here. Yeah, fuel capacity, engine type, all those things I can create the variables. But I'm just stopping with this. This is simple an example, right? I cannot create the entire car template before you. That will take long time. So I'm just sticking to these 5 variables for now. Okay. Then along with this, I'll create some methods. Okay, I'll create some methods inside this class. Not only I'm creating variables, along with the variables, I'm going to create some methods. Public void, start car. Start car is one method. Okay, start car is one method. And inside this method, I have to write some logic to start the car, but here I'll just take the help of a print statement to see whether the start car has been executed or not. So by writing car from this company, yes, these are global variables, right? You are right. These are global variables. Mahesh, you are right. Okay, these are global variables. Car from plus this company having model. What is the model? This particular model plus model has started. Okay, has started. I am writing the print statement like this. So this is a start car I have created. I can create few more methods. Public void stop car. Public void stop car. System.out.println. Again the same thing. Instead of writing the real logic for stopping the car, I am writing the print statement at a high level for our understanding. Car from this company having model. I'm using this plus as a concatenation operator. You can understand, right? Okay, having model, this particular model has stopped. Okay, has stopped. Has started, has stopped. Now, one more method also I'll create. As a sample, I'm creating just 3 methods, but in real time, if you have to really create a class template, lot of variables, lot of methods will come. But here only example purpose I'm creating, right? So only sample methods I'm creating. Public void car details. Okay, car details. So here I'll simply say system.out.println company of the car is plus company. Then system.out.println model of the car is plus model. Then system.out.println price of the car is plus price, this particular price. Okay. Then system.out.println mileage of the car is plus this mileage. System.out.println color of the car is plus color. This color. Clear so far, guys? How I created a car class template? For example, how I created a car class template is clear for everyone. Some global variables and some 3 methods. Since these are global variables, I'm able to access these variables inside every method here. Okay. These global variables can be accessed throughout the class. I explained yesterday, right? Global variables can be accessed throughout the class. In every method, I'm able to use it. You see, company, model, here company, model, price, mileage, color. I'm able to use in every method. Okay, throughout the class, I can use this global variables. Okay, where exactly? It's not required. Here it ended, right? In which line you mean to say, Pawan? Any particular line? Double quotes are ended here, and here I'm using concatenation operator to concatenate with. It's not required. It's not compulsory that double quotes should be there. This is a variable, right? For variables, you don't have to surround with double quotes. Variables don't have to be surrounded with variables or numbers don't have to be surrounded with double quotes. In Java, variables and numbers don't have to be surrounded with double quotes. Here I'm using concatenation operator. Till here only string text. And that is getting concatenated with a variable. Variable don't have to be surrounded with double quotes. Okay. Numbers don't have to be surrounded with double quotes. Okay. Simple. So here you see, I didn't surround this. Here place is there, but this variable I am not surrounding with double quotes. Only the text I am surrounding with double quotes. This is string literal. String literal need to be surrounded by double quotes. Okay, like that. whatever the things you are using in the print statements, what type they are. This is string letter, should be surrounded with text kind of thing, should be surrounded with double quotes. Okay, here variable should not be surrounded with double quotes. Like we already discussed about literals, right? The way the literals should be there. Character literals should be surrounded by single quote. If you are using character literal inside the print statement, surround them with single quote. Okay. If you are using a string literal, double quotes. Number, no need to surround with double quotes or anything. Okay, directly use. Variables, directly use. Like that, guys. Okay, fine. So any doubts so far? Guys, any doubts in this program I have written? I created a template. In this main method is not there. Just observe, guys. The purpose of this particular class is to not run this code with the help of main method. The purpose is to create a template. I've used this class to create a template. Okay, just to create a template. Okay, I created this class. If these things are clear so far, type yes in the chat box. Otherwise, ask the question, guys. Okay, type C in the chat box if it is clear for you guys so far. Otherwise, ask questions. Okay, great. It's okay to ask any number of questions, guys. Okay, I'm saying that it's very important also for you guys to ask the questions. Okay. So Nagveni is asking me, why did not we create the main method? That's a good question. Okay. So because I told you already, the purpose of me creating this class is to create what? Objects. The purpose of the class is to not run the code. Rather, the purpose of this particular class is to use the class as class for creating what? Template Nagveni. Okay. I want to create this class with an intention of creating a template like this. Okay. The template. This is a template only. It's not, a class where you create a main method and run some programs. That's not the purpose. That's why I have not created the main method. Yeah. How the code inside this car class will be run? That's your question, right? Nagveni, that's your question, right? How the code inside this car class will run, right? That's the question, right? That's what is coming up. Okay, just wait, Nagveni, you'll understand. You'll get the answer for that particular question. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Now,
Aaron, one
yeah,
question is like, if we are running this code right now, what will be the,
we
because
cannot run it
we didn't
actually. We
have,
cannot run it actually. It is a template only. Okay, this
okay.
class doesn't have any method. So if you right click and say run as, you will not get any option to run. Am I getting any option, Java
Hmm.
application option here? No. Why? Main method is not there. But still I'm creating a class. As a template only I created. By itself, I cannot run this class. Okay.
Okay, understood.
But yes, the execution, Nagven, you are right. Execution will start from the main method. Right. Correct. Okay. Yes. Abhi, you are also right. Okay. I'm going to create another class. So the main purpose here is using this class as a template. I would like to create what? This class is acting like a template to create what? I want to create what? Yes, tell me. Here all the explanation. Class is a template or blueprint or factory for creating what? Object. I want to create now objects. That's the main purpose I created this class as a template. By using this class, I'm going to create objects. Where? I'll create another class. I'll just create another class, guys. I'll just name this as a demo class, for example. You can give any name. I'm just giving demo class. And here I'll create a main method. Okay, either I can select this checkbox and create, or after I go to this, I'll just drag this side so that you can see both the classes. This is template class. This is a template class, and this is another class. I'll just minimize this one so that you can see this car class template, and this is a demo class. Inside this demo class, I'm going to create main method. Everyone is kind of surprised, right? When I create the car class template, where is the main method? How the code inside this car template will run without the main method, right? But for that purpose, I'm creating another class. For that purpose, I'm creating another class, and control space main method. I'm creating the main method. Okay, I'm creating main method. Inside this class, I'm creating a main method. Now I'll run all this stuff from this main method. Okay. So in this another class, I created the main method. Now inside this main method, where the logic has to be written every time, where the logic has to be written, inside the methods or outside the method logic. Logic should be written inside the methods. Even object creation also should be done where? Object creation, including object creation, should be written inside the methods. Object creation should also happen inside the method. Okay. So here, for this car class template, using this car class template, I would like to create object, and that objects I'll create inside the main method. Okay. For now, you can create in non-main method also, but in main method, I'll show you first. Okay. So which keyword I have to use in Java for creating the objects? There's a keyword in Java for creating the objects. What is the keyword that I have to use? The name of the keyword is new keyword. Okay, everyone understand a new keyword has been introduced. Okay, something new I am introducing you guys. The name of the keyword is what? New keyword. Okay, new keyword. Followed by new, I have to give the name of this class for which I have to create the object. Car. Okay, followed by this keyword in Java, I have to give the name of the class and then put circular brackets like this. Put a semicolon. Why circular brackets? I'll explain later. But for now, understand till here. I have to use a new keyword followed by the name of the class. And why circular brackets and all will come later. Don't worry about that. Okay. This will create an object. This simple statement will create an object for the car class. Understanding, guys? This is the actual statement for creating the object for this car class. Okay. The moment I say new car, in the computer memory, what will happen? In the computer memory, what will happen? Let's say this is a computer memory. Let's say this is a computer memory. Okay, let's assume that this is a computer memory. In the computer memory, what will happen? Some memory will be reserved for the object. Object will be created, right? Yes, object will be created. Object will be created. Here already using the new keyword, we have created an object for which class? For car class, we have created an object. Using car class, we created an object using the new keyword like this. Okay, by writing the statement. The moment I create an object in the computer memory, what will happen? Some memory will be reserved for the object. So object one, I'll say object one for now. Okay. So some memory got reserved. Some in this computer memory, some memory got reserved for this particular object one. Okay. Object one, some memory got reserved. Fine. That's happened. Now what I will do is, you see, like similar to variables, in order to refer to this memory location, variables are nothing but the name given to the memory location where the actual data is stored, right? Similarly, object is also a memory location, right? Can we remember memory location address? Guys, can we remember memory location address? Is it possible for us to remember the memory address? Like phone numbers and all in our mobile phone? Every phone number can we remember? No, right? We need to attach some name, person's name to that. Similarly, we have to attach some name to this particular object memory also. Some object memory with some random number 1100110, like that kind of thing got created. That number we cannot, memory address we cannot remember. So we have to refer it with some name. That name is called as object reference. What is that name called as? Everyone type in the chat box. That name that I have to use for referring to this object memory is called as what? Object reference. Everyone type in the chat box object reference. It's very important. Object reference. It's called as object reference. Yes, object reference. I'm giving some name here. Okay. So before I give anything here, the name, how to give the name then? The programmatically, how to give the name? Here I'll say, I'll take one car in the market. Okay. A real world entity I would like to represent here. A real world entity I'm going to represent here. Okay. Object is nothing but a representation of a real world entity. So that real world entity name I will give here. For example, I'll give something as HAMZ. Why I'm giving something HAMZ? Short form for Honda Amaze. Everyone know about Honda Amaze car, right? I'm taking that as an example. Honda Amaze. Honda, H for Honda, AMZ for Amaze. I'm just giving a short form here. Okay, that's fine. I would like to represent a real world entity known as Honda Amaze car in this program. Okay. So the moment I write this object reference, right? So the moment I write HAMZ, HAMZ is a object reference which will refer to the object that is created by this statement. Okay. So here, what is object reference? HAMZ is the object reference. HAMZ is the object reference, which is a name like a variable, which will refer to the memory location of this particular object. Okay, in the computer memory. That's good. But here, there is an error coming because every variable, do we declare the variable with some data type? Guys, if you say some a is equal to 5, we have to declare that a with some data type, right? Int kind of data type we have to declare, right? If I create a variable like b is equal to 5.5, which data type I have to use? Double data type to declare that variable. But here, HAMZ, which data type I have to use? To declare this HAMZ with some data type, you have to use a data type, or what I have to use to declare this? Type your answers. Class name. Payal is saying class name. Vijay Robert is saying class name. Maha is saying string. Few people are saying string. Few people are saying the class name. The answer is the same car. With the help of the same class name, that is car, I have to declare that. Error will be gone. Able to understand this, guys? How to declare that object reference? Same class type. Okay, this object reference of which type? The class type. It's not int data type or float data type or double or not neither string. It is the class type. Okay, car with the same name of this class. I have to declare this object reference. Okay, I'm declaring this object reference with the help of the name of the class. Fine. Clear, guys? Clear? Types in the chat box if this statement is clear for you. This statement created the object, and to refer to this object, we created the object reference, and that object reference should be declared with name of the class. Okay, that's how to understand. Now, what I can do with this object reference? Okay, the once I create this, what I can do with this object reference, you will understand now. Okay, you see, Honda Mess. Honda Mess. What is the company of Honda Mess? What is the company of the Honda Mess? What is the company? Honda. What is the model of the Honda Mess? What is the model of the Honda Amaze? Amaze is a model, right? Amaze is a model. What may be the price of the Honda Amaze? Roughly? Roughly? You can tell me in lakhs. Yeah, 12 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 8 lakhs. Average will take 9 lakhs. Okay, let's take 9 lakhs. Okay, mileage. What may be the mileage of the Honda Amaze car? If it is a petrol version, what is the mileage? Yeah, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now, I'll take 14 for now, let's say. What may color may be different for every Honda Amaze car. Let's say it's a gray color. Okay, let's say it's a gray color. So all these variable values have to assign these variables with have to initialize these variables with some values, right? Guys, have to initialize these particular variables with values or not? How to initialize these variables for this particular object? With the help of object reference. You have to write the answer. If I have to initialize the variables for this particular object, for this particular class, I have to use what? With the help of what I can initialize these variables? With the help of object reference. Type the answer, guys. Object reference. Using object reference, yes. Using object reference, we have to initialize the variables. Object reference is the answer. Okay. So how do you do that? I'll show you right now. Okay. I'll take this object reference, HAMZ, HAMZ dot. First one is company, right? You see company is already coming. Company. Company is equal to, I'll give some company, that is Honda. Honda. The moment I say like this, HAMZ dot company is equal to Honda, in the computer memory, in this memory that is reserved for this object, what will be stored? Honda. Okay. Company is equal to Honda will be stored. Okay. Then the next statement, if I write HAMZ dot model is equal to Amaze, if I write, I'll initialize this particular variable of the class for this particular object using Honda Amaze object reference like this, HAMZ dot model I have to say is equal to Amaze. When I say that, in the computer memory, what will happen? In the computer memory, model is equal to amaze will be stored. Okay, model is equal to amaze will be stored. Next, I'll just pick up. Okay, the next one is hamz dot price. Price is equal to, I'll just give the price as, you see this two variables are string variables. So I'm assigning the string values, but price is double variable, double declared variable. So I can, give decimal value here. Price is like 9 lakhs, right? So I can give 9.5. Okay, let's say 9.5 lakhs. HAMZ dot mileage. What is the mileage? We decided to be 14.12. Okay, let's say 14.12 is the mileage. Then color I have to give HAMZ dot color. Color of the car is gray color. Let's say gray color. Okay. That's it. I'm done with this initializing. All these variables got initialized, right, with the help of object reference of this particular object. Okay. So I'm representing a real world entity or not? Guys, am I representing a real world entity or not? This object, with the help of object, I'm able to represent a real world entity or not? A real world thing that I can see in the real world, I'm doing in the programming, right? The program, I can get it, right? Get it done. So now, after initializing this, there is few more things that are there in the class. Apart from the variables, what are there in this particular class template? Apart from the variables, what are there in this car class template? Methods. How to call these methods then? How to call these methods after initializing these variables of this car class template with by creating an object and all those stuff, object reference and all. Okay. How to call these methods? Yes, the answer is by what, guys? Everyone type the answer. Using what I can call these methods? Using this object reference, I created the variables. I initialize the variables of this particular for this object. Okay. So in the computer memory also, everything has been stored like, price is equal to 9 point, what is that? I gave 9.5. Then mileage is equal to 14.12 I gave. Then color is equal to gray I gave. Okay. So all this happened because of the object reference initialization is done. But to call the methods also same thing we have to do. HAMZ dot start car. HAMZ dot stop car. HAMZ dot car details. Okay, like this I can call the methods. Okay, using object reference only I need to call the methods. Okay. Using object reference only, I have to initialize the variables. Using object reference only, I have to call the class, call the methods. Okay. Now, one object I represented and I initialize the variables of the particular class and for that particular object and I call the methods for that particular object. Can I run this code now? Guys, can I run this code? Which is inside the main method. Is it possible to run the code? Yes or no this time? Can I run this code or not? Because there is a main method means I can run, right? So let's run the code. Right click, run as. Now I'm getting Java application because main method is there. I'm running it. Let's see the output. Car from Honda having model Amaze has started. Car from Honda having model Amaze has stopped. You see, wherever I put the company and model in the print statements, right? It's taking. In place of company, Honda is coming. In place of model, Amaze is coming. Then started, stop, two methods. You see, start car method called because of that this print statement has been printed. Stop car method has been called. Okay. Stop car method has been called and car from company, car from Honda having model Amaze has stopped. And last one was car details. When I say car details, company of the car is Honda. You see all these 5 print statements. Company of the car is Honda. Model of the car is Amaze. Price of the car is 9.5. Mileage of the car is 14.12. Color of the car is gray. Okay, right? So these methods have been called properly and the initialized variables have been printed in the print statements of these methods. Yeah, Pawan, you are saying something. I have a signal problem at the time of object reference. Can you please tell me how to get the object reference? How do we get the object reference? I'll tell you again. Okay. So forget about this. Pawan, I'm going to create one more object now. You just carefully understand now. Okay, fine. So this is only one object. Can I create only one object or I can create multiple objects, guys? For using this car class template, can I represent only one object, one real world entity, or multiple type of cars I can represent? Multiple, not single. It's only one car, Honda Amaze car. There are many cars in the market. I can represent with the help of car class template. So let's represent one more car. If you have to create another object, what I have to do? New car again. New car. Like this, if I write, an object will be again in the computer memory. Some memory will be reserved for another object. That is object 2. That is object 2. Okay. That is object 2. Yes, right. Object 2. And now how to refer to this particular object? Like variables. Pawan, this is for you. Since you asked me the question, right, Pawan? Just observe here, Pawan. Okay. So the memory got reserved in the computer, but this memory will have some address, right, Pawan? Like Pawan, interact with me. Okay. So here some memory address will be there, like 1011. Can we remember that memory address, Pawan?
No, sir.
No, that is not possible. In variables also same problems, right? Variables are nothing but the name given to the memory location where the data is stored, right, Pawan? Similarly,
Yes, sir.
here object is also a memory which will have the address. And to refer to that memory of that particular object also, we need to give some name or not.
Yes, sir. We need to.
Yes, that name is nothing but object reference. Okay.
Okay.
That name is nothing but what? In case of data stored into the variables, the name given to the variable is nothing but name given to the data stored at the memory location address, okay, of the data. But
For addressing the data, sir, mainly.
yeah, for referring to this memory location where the object is created, for object reserved memory to refer to that object memory, right? We need object reference. Here we are not calling this as a variable. Okay, it's not a variable, it's a object reference. Able to understand, Paul?
Sorry, sir.
And using this object reference, we can refer to these variables and all. Okay. Able to understand?
Sorry, sir. Not it.
Okay, Pawan, let me explain again. You see, you created an object, right? The computer
Yes,
memory create an object, right?
Yes, sir.
The moment you create an object, what happens internally in the computer memory is some memory will be reserved. Okay, in this entire computer memory, some memory will be reserved for this particular object. Okay, this object will have some address like this 1011100011. Can you remember this address?
No, sir.
Okay, but I have to refer to this memory in the Java programs, right?
Okay.
This memory I have to refer, right, in the Java programs. So what I
Yes,
have to do because we cannot remember this memory address, like we cannot remember phone numbers. What I will do is I have to give some name to this memory location.
Okay, sir.
That name is nothing but what? Object reference.
Okay.
So for
Got
example, in this case, did I give any object reference name to this memory location? So far not. In the programming, I have not done that. Just object has been created. Some address has been reserved for the object. But now I am going to give the name, which is nothing but the object reference. Okay. Name
Okay,
to refer to that address I am giving. Okay. So because we cannot remember the memory address, I am giving this name. Okay. So
Okay,
I'll
sir.
take this as, I'll take one more example. So SVDI. Okay. MSVDI. Like the some name I am giving. Let's say Maruti Swift VDI. Okay. Swift
Okay.
VDI is a model and Maruti is the name. Like that, just short form I am giving. Some name I am giving. Why I am giving this name, I am explaining. Okay. Like here I gave Honda Amaze, HAMZ. Okay. Here I am giving MS VDI, Maruti Swift VDI. Okay, like that I am
Yes.
giving some name. Okay, to this particular class. Now this is the object reference. Now here we have given MS VDI as a name. This is a object reference. This is what is object reference. Now is it clear for you, Pawan? What is object
Yes, sir.
reference and all? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now
Clear,
using this
sir.
object reference, we can do a lot of stuff. Okay. But before we do a lot of stuff with this object reference, error is coming because in variables, we declare the variables with some data types, right? We declare the variables with, for example, if you are storing a is equal to 5, okay? So that variable a should be declared with in data type. If you are storing, let's say 5.5 into the b variable, b is equal to 5.5, that b variable should be declared with double data type, right? Generally.
Yes, sir.
But here, this particular object reference should be declared with which data type? The class.
Class
Class is
name.
a data type here, okay? It's a class type. It's a class type, okay? It will not be int, string, float like that. It will be which type? Class type. We have to declare this object reference with class type. That is a car class type for which you have created the object, right? Same class we have to give. Now you understand the object creation statement, Pawan?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir. No, thank you,
Okay,
sir.
fine. Now using this object reference, what we have to do is, here there are some variables. I have to initialize the variables. To initialize the variables, what I have to use? Object reference I have to use. SVDI dot I have to say, and I'll get all this class related variables. That is company. What is a company? Maruti is a company, let's say. Okay. I'll write here. The moment I say svda.company is equal to Maruti, in the computer memory, in this particular object reserved memory, company is equal to Maruti will be stored. Okay. Similarly, if I say svdi dot model, then here Swift VDI is a model. Okay. Swift VDI model will be coming. Then svdi dot price, if I say, let's give some price like 8.3 lakhs, okay, as a price. Then if I give svdi dot w
SWVD.
ms we thought, right? Ms. Okay, let's give ms only. Why to confuse? Okay, ms vdi, right? Maruti Swift vda. MS VDA. You can give anything, that's okay, but I'm just following something because the diagram is different, right? So I'm just making sure everything is same. Mileage is equal to mileage, let's say more mileage, 23.64, let's say. And then MSVDI, Maruti Swift VDI dot color is equal to, let's say, red color. Okay, like this I give. Now what happens in the computer memory? The same details will be stored in the object memory, which is reserved for that particular second object. Okay. Model is equal to Swift VDI is a model. Then price is equal to what? Some 8.3 is lakhs is the price, and mileage is equal to 23.64 the mileage, I guess. Then
Yes.
color is equal to
Red.
red. Okay, like this, all the data has been stored in this object reserved memory. Okay. Now to this memory location where these details are stored, object reference is there. Using object reference, we can access, right? We are initializing also with the help of object reference. Done. Now, apart from these variables, we have methods also, like start car, stop car, car details. How to call these methods of this for this particular object? How to call these methods of this class with the help of same object reference? MSVDI dot start. MSVDI dot stop car. MSVDI dot car details. Okay, like this. Okay. Now, how many objects I created? First object, and I initialize the variables of the first object, and then call the methods of the first object. Then I created another object. I initialize the variables of the second object. I call the methods for the second object also. Okay. Yes, right. Now let me run this. Right click run as Java application. Car from Honda having model Amaze has started. Car from Honda having model Amaze has stopped. Company of the car is Honda. Model of the car is Amaze. Price of the car is 9.5. Mileage of the car is 14.12. Color of the car is gray. This is still Honda. Honda means. Now next details are for Maruti. Car from Maruti having model Swift VDA has started. Car from Maruti having model Swift VDA has stopped. Company of the car is Maruti. Model of the car is Swift VDA. Price of the car is 8.3. Mileage of the car is 23.64. Color of the car is red. Okay. So what I will do is at the end I will give one print statement, guys, intentionally. Okay. So that a line I'll draw so that in the output will make a difference. It will make a difference in the output. We can clearly see this one car details, this another car details. Okay, like that. Okay, that's the reason I gave line here. Okay, now I'll create one more object. I want to create one more object. I'll create fast here. Okay, new car. Okay, so I'll just name this as HYI20. Okay, so the moment I say new car here in the computer memory will be reserved for another object, object 3, and here object reference I am giving it as what? What is the object reference here? HYI20. Okay. Yeah, HYI20. Okay. HYI20. Okay. HYI20. Yeah, I got a question actually while I'm doing this. Understand first class created only for template and second class created with main method and call methods. Can we create and execute in single class? Yes, that is possible. That is possible, Jilani Sheikh. Okay, that is possible. But let's not go there. Okay, this will be easy for to understand. Okay, I'm using this as a template. I'm using this as a something for execution. Okay, this class for execution, this class for creating a template. Okay, this class for execution purpose by creating objects and executing. Okay, but this main method you can also write inside the car class, and you can do the same stuff inside the same class also. Okay, that is also possible. Okay, that's also possible. Okay, but let's not do that. You see, these things will, if I write everything inside this class, can you see these two interfaces together? This class you cannot see side by side, right? Again, I have to scroll up, down, up, down, up, down. That won't be good. Able to understand why I have taken this kind of approach? If I write this code inside the same class, I have to scroll up and down for each and everything. Okay, rather I can see side by side, right? That is more better. Fine, anyhow, car I'll say. Now, initialize the variables. HYI20 dot company, dot company is equal to what? Hyundai. HYI20 dot model I20 model. HYI20 dot size 12.8 lakhs. Let's say HYI20 dot mileage. Let's say it's giving only 10.11 kilometers per liter. Let's say it's giving. Okay. HYI20 dot color. Let's say it is white color. So all these details will be stored where? In the object, in the memory object. Okay, objects memory. In the objects memory of this particular HYI20 object reference object memory, it will be stored, right? So here I will be writing. So company is equal to Hyundai. Model is equal to I20. Price is equal to 12.8. Mileage is equal to 10.11. Then color is equal to white. Like this I stored. Now how many objects I created so far? 3 objects. Now I can call them methods also. Using this object reference, if I call these methods, these objects related methods will be called. Okay, according to this object details, the methods will be called. HYI20 dot start car, HYI20 dot stop car, HYI20 dot car details. That's it. Three objects. Right click and as Java application. Car from Hyundai having model I-20 has started. Car from Hyundai having model I-20 has stopped. Company of the car is Hyundai, model of the car is I-20, price of the car is 12.8, mileage of the car is 10.11, color of the car is white. All good so far. Everyone clear so far? Type C in the chat box if everything is clear so far for you guys. Great.
Yeah,
So,
I have one question.
yeah, please.
For initializing that object, we used the class name, then object reference is equal to new, then again class name, right? Class car of.
What is that again? Tell me. Repeat your question.
Yeah, initializing that object, that means car, that
This one,
HAMS
this statement you are.
is yes.
So
Yeah.
for creating an
For
object,
first one is class name, then object reference, then equal to, then new keyword, and then car of
class name only.
that
Class name.
class name, right?
Class name, that's the class name only. This part will create the
Okay.
object, and to this object we have to refer using the object reference, and that object reference should be declared with the same class. Okay.
Open and bracket is
This part
necessary,
will
right?
cover. This part I'll get to there now. Okay.
Okay.
This part is not explained anyhow. Okay. This
Okay.
part is not explained right now. That part I'll cover. Okay. For you have to wait for a while. Okay. So fine.
Okay.
Now what I will do is I'll just close these things for a while. Why? Because I need to give this as part of the code reference and all for you. I'll create one more package. I'll just name this as constructors. Okay, constructors. And sorry, I just created a class. Okay, let me delete this. I have to create a package actually. Why I'm creating this is, I don't want to disturb this code. I want you guys to practice this code. Okay, that's why I don't want to alter this code. Okay, so I'm just keeping it so I can give you as part of, in Telegram group, I can give you the code for this so you guys can practice. Okay, that classes creating and objects creation and all those stuff. Okay, I'll create another package, constructors, I'll say. And I'll just copy these two things again. Okay, because I have to work on them. They will get modified. If I do the changes here, right, they will get modified. That's the reason I kept it as a reference. Okay. Now in this constructors thing, we'll go to the next part. Again, I'll open the same thing. Okay. Now can you see both the things as it is, right? Same, right, guys? There are no changes. Same thing. Same class template, objects creation, 3 objects we created and all those stuff. Okay. Right. Now what the problem is, whenever I create an object, how many statements I have to write to initialize the variables of this particular class? How many statements I have to write for every object to initialize the variables of this particular class in this example? 5. If there are 10 variables, 10 statements I have to write here. For every object, 5 statements. For this object also, 5 statements. If there are 3 objects, 3 into 5, 15. 15 statements I have to write. If there are 100 objects created, 100 into 5, how many lines I have to write for initializing the variables if there are 100 objects created? 100 into 5, 500 lines I have to write. When the number of objects increase, the number of statements I have to write for initializing the variables also will increase. Multiplied by that number of objects, 100 into 5 in this case. 100 objects means 100 into 5 in this case. 500. That is too much. So what I'll do is, I'll simplify it. Instead of writing 5 lines here, for every object, instead of writing 5 lines, I'll make it 1 line. Is that a good thing? I'll convert this into 1 line. Will that be a good thing, guys? In single line, I can initialize these variables. Will that be a good thing? Right or wrong? Right. That is definitely going to be a good thing. But how that is possible? I'll tell you the answer. So here, in this template itself, in the car template itself, I am going to create a method. Public, void. Okay. You can give any name for this method. Okay. You can give any name for this method. So I'll say initialize car variables like this. I can say or I initialize. Okay, some method I'm creating and just giving some initialize name. Okay, so this method, does it have any parameters here? Does this particular method have any parameters so far now when I create? No, no, right? Zero parameters, but I am going to create the parameters. How I am going to create the parameters? I'll tell you. The same thing. The same thing I have to copy paste. String company, copy and paste it here. This is what first parameter, comma, string model, the second parameter, comma, string double price, comma. What is the next one? Double mileage, comma. Then next one, string color. These are parameters. These are method parameters. String company, string model, double price, double mileage, and final one is string color. These are the 5 parameters I created. Now what I will do is, from this particular main method, once I create the object, instead of initializing each and every variable like this for every 5 statements, I'll simply call this method initialize method. HAMZ dot initialize. To this method, how many arguments I have to pass? Total how many arguments I have to pass? 5 parameters are there, means 5 arguments I have to pass or not? 5 arguments I have to pass. I'll pass them now. Yes, 5 is the correct answer. Here already the things are coming. So here the first part I'll pass this one Honda. Second one I'll pass Mace. Third one I'll pass 9.5. Fourth one I'll pass 14.12, which is a mileage. Fifth one I'll pass the color of the car. Now, if I do something like this, this Honda will go into this parameter company. Amaze will go into the parameter model. 9.5 will go into this price. 14.12 will go into this mileage. And finally, the gray color will go into this color, right? Now, I have to assign these values to this class variables or not. This parameter, whatever the data that these parameters are receiving from these arguments, do I have to assign it to this class variables or not? Yes or no? Guys, do I have to assign the data that is received by these parameters to this class level variables or not, global variables or not, so that all the methods can access these global variables, right? All these methods can access global variables. Can all these methods can access these parameters? Can these methods access these parameters? No, that's not possible. These are local only. For this particular method only, these parameters are there. They cannot be accessed outside the method. But in order to make this data accessible outside the methods, in all the other methods, have to assign this data received by these parameters to these global variables, so that the global variables can be accessed throughout the class, and that will be possible. That's the concept. Clear, everyone? Type C in the chat box if this concept is clear for you. Yeah, fine. So I want to assign that. So I'll just take this company. I'll say company is equal to what? Company is equal to this company, parameter company. And I'll say take this model. I'll say model is equal to this model. Yeah, I'll explain, Nagavini. I'll explain using the doubt session. Okay, you will understand, no problem. Okay, price is equal, this price is equal to global variables is equal to this price. Okay, tomorrow if required, Nagavini, I can repeat. Okay, don't worry, this has to be completed at a go. Okay, that's the reason I'm covering this. Then mileage is equal to this mileage. I can repeat it tomorrow, guys, if you have any doubts, no problem. Okay, but I have to complete this today itself. Okay, as I go. That's the reason I am covering this. Okay. Color is equal to this color. Okay. Try to focus. Try to focus. Don't give up. Okay. So, but there is a problem in this. What is the problem, guys? If I double click on company, what is getting highlighted? Parameter or this global variable? Parameter or this global variable? Parameter. If I double click this side, again, what is getting highlighted? Parameter or the global variable? This side also parameter. This side also parameter. This side also parameter. This side also parameter. That means, am I assigning parameter to the global variables? Am I assigning the parameters to these global variables? No. I'm assigning the parameter to parameter only. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. So I have to give a different name. Let's say give C here, M here, M for model, C for company, P for price, MI for mileage, CO for color. Like this, different names I'll give. Now in this case, company, now global variable is highlighting. Model, global variable is highlighting. Price, global variable is highlighting. Mileage, global variable is highlighting. Color, global variable. But here I'll simply say C, M, P, MI, CO. Now this parameter, this side parameter. Is that good now? Is this good now, guys? Is this good? Am I assigning the parameters to the global variables or not? Yes. I'm assigning the parameters to the global variables. Okay. I'm assigning the parameters to the global variables. Now the initialization is done. That's good. Now I don't need these statements, right? I don't need these 5 statements. Have I reduced 5 statements with 1 statement or not? To initialize this 5 variables, I just calling this method. With the help of the method, I overcome this. Now I can do the same thing for this one also. I don't need these 5 statements. What I have to do? Nagveni, tell me what I have to do. Instead of these 5 statements, what I have to do, Nagveni? You can speak up.
Same thing we need to repeat. All
What
the
is the same
variables
thing?
we should pass in the single line.
How?
MSVDI dot initialize.
MSVDI dot.
Initialize.
This method I have to call. The method I am using for initializing the variables. That's only, right?
Yes.
Initialize. So here I need to pass Maruti.
Yes.
Sorry. I'll just copy it from there and paste it there. 50 VDI I'll copy from there and paste it there. 8.3 I'll copy from there and paste it there. Then 23.64 I'll copy from here and paste it here. I'm passing them as arguments. These are all called as what? Nagveni, what are these called as?
Arguments.
These are arguments that I'm passing to the method. These arguments will be received by the parameters of which method?
Initialize method.
You can give any name for this method. I'm just giving initialize, but you can give initialize car, whatever the name you want to give, you can give. Now
What
these
is the
statements
concept name of this? Concept name.
There is no concept name. I'll tell you
Okay.
later. It's just a
Okay.
method. I'm using a method for initializing. Okay. There is no concept.
Okay. Okay.
So these statements are required now?
No.
No. I can remove them, right?
Yes.
I can remove them. Okay. So I'm able to reduce 5 lines to 1 line now, as I promised. These 5 lines also I can do the same thing.
Yes.
HY I20 dot
initialize.
Right. Hyundai
I20.
I20 and just passing like this instead of initializing with 5 statements. If there are 100 objects, imagine Nagveni, what will happen? Right? If there are 100 objects, do I have to write 5 statements for every 100 object? No, right? Just one statement.
Yes.
So instead of 500 lines, I reduce to 100 lines in terms of 100 objects. Right?
Yes. Yes.
That's what is the thing that I'm doing. Okay.
Okay.
Now this is done. This part is done now. Now for 3 objects, just 3 lines I have written to initialize. Right? Now the concept is I don't even want this single line. I don't even want this single line. Without this single line only I want to do. Still, I want this particular variables to be initialized, but only with single line I want to do. I don't even want the single line to initialize. I don't want to call this method. Is there any way? The answer is constructors. What is the answer for this? Using constructors, I can even eliminate this line also. Able to understand, Nagvini, what I am saying?
Yes, Arun.
If I want to remove this line, still I want to initialize these variables, I have to go with what? Everyone type in the chat box. What I want to do? To reduce this single line also. I don't even want to write the single line to initialize these variables. I have to go for what? Next level is what? Constructors. Okay? Constructors. I have to take the help of constructors. I'll do one thing. I'll just convert this as rename this. Right click refactor. How to rename? I have to rename this package. I have to right click on the package, refactor, rename. I'll just rename this, say OK. And I'll just name this as method initialization. Initializing using methods. Initialize with methods, I'll say. Okay. Say continue. Initialize this method. I want you guys to have this code. That's why I'm creating copies, multiple copies. I'll close all this stuff. I'll create one more package now, known as. Be with me for you just 2 or just 5 minutes max. Okay. I'll complete this because this concept has to be completed at a go. Otherwise, you guys will not understand. Okay. So objects, classes, then object reference, creating objects, object reference, then initializing the variables using object reference, calling the methods with object reference, then reducing the number of lines by creating a method for initializing the variables of the class. Everything has to be understood in a single go. That's the reason I'm taking this much long. Be with me. I'll complete this in 5 minutes. Copy this again. I'll just paste it. Just for reference, I'm doing this. All these things we will practice by tomorrow. Okay, anyhow. I'll open this class again. Demo. So my target is what? What is my target now? What I am aiming for? Tell me guys, what I am aiming for? What I am aiming for? I want to reduce this line. That's what is my aim, right? I want to reduce this single line also. Not 3 lines, this single line into 1. This single line I want to make it to 0. Okay, the single line I want to make it to 0. Okay, I'm trying to reduce this line also. Here, to initialize this particular variables, I have used what? Method. I've used what for initializing this particular variables? I've used what? Type in the chat box what I have used for initializing this variables of the for every object to initialize the variables. What I have used? Method. I've used method. But in place of the method, what I want to use? What I have to use to reduce this particular line? What I have to use in place of that? I have to use constructor. Constructor. But how to create a constructor, guys? How to create a constructor? You see, there are few rules for the constructor that you have to understand. That is, the name of the method should match. If I have to convert this method into a constructor, the name of the method should be same as the name of the what? Class. The name of the method should match with the name of the class. So I'll just copy this car and put it here. Now the name of the method matches with the name of the class. And one more rule with the constructors is constructors will not have any return type. Like methods will have return type, right? Constructors will not have return type. So is there any requirement for me to provide void there if the constructor doesn't have return type? No, I have to return the void here. Now the constructor is done. I have successfully created a constructor, guys. That's it. Nothing, there's no magic in this. Very simple. I converted a method into a constructor now. The name of the constructor should match with the name of the class. That's first thing. And other thing is the constructor will not have a return type. That's the only difference between method and a constructor. Now this has become a constructor. Now this has become a constructor. Now what I will do here is, someone was asking me why there are circular brackets here, right? You guys were asking me why circular brackets are here. Because I am calling what? Tell me guys, what I am calling here? I am calling what? This is what? Constructor calling statement. Like we are calling a method. Here While creating object only, we are calling what? A constructor. So all these arguments I'll put inside this constructor calling statement. Do I need this statement now to initialize the variables? I'll remove this. Able to understand now? Constructor, car, parameters, arguments, done. While creating the objects only, the variables of the object are getting initialized. Is that very simple or not? Is that good or not? Nagveni, can you understand this?
Not fully, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. So where are you lagging? Can you pick out a bit? Anywhere, any place.
Actually, I need to start the office, so I'm not able to
Oh, you are in a
concentrate.
hurry, yeah? Fine, fine, fine.
Yeah.
I'll complete it. Just give me a second, okay? I'm completing it, okay? You can revise the video again, okay? When we are free again, okay? From the
Okay.
recording. Tomorrow, if any doubts are there, I'll clarify for you. Or else you
Okay.
can leave now because already I completed this, right? You can leave to office now, okay? No problem, okay?
Okay.
I'll just do the same thing for the remaining things, okay? You can leave to office, okay? No problem.
Till the classes and objects and passing values in the same line, till there it is clear. After that, we are getting confused, I think.
No problem. I'll cover it. I'll clear your doubts tomorrow. Don't worry, okay? You can leave
Okay.
for today. No problem. And also make sure that you watch the video again, okay? When you're free time. Once.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, now
Before
also
I-
I'm listening, but I'm getting ready.
No problem, no problem. Go,
Yeah.
go ahead. No problem. Okay?
Okay.
Fine. Here again, you see you are getting error because you are calling a constructor, but is this constructor empty? So here, 0 arguments can you pass to the constructor having multiple parameters? Is that possible, guys? No. So what we have to do? Again, these arguments we have to pass in the constructor. I'll repeat this, guys. Don't worry, I'll repeat this. Tomorrow also, I'll repeat this if you want, okay? Don't worry about this. Just try to follow this as much as possible, okay? I have reduced the line. The main intention is to reduce the lines, guys, okay? From 5 lines, I came to 1 line. From 1 line, I came to 0 line. While creating the object only, the constructor is being called. This is a constructor calling statement. Earlier, you were confused, like I said new car, but why I'm putting the circular brackets? Because this I'm creating as a constructor, car constructor. Constructor, the purpose is to simplify the initialization of the variables. The purpose of the constructor is to simplify the initialization of the variables where you don't have to even write a single line to initialize the variables. Earlier you were writing 5 lines. I reduced it to 1 line with the help of methods, but with the help of constructors, I went to the next level where I don't even need a single line to call the method. Automatically this constructor is being called when the object is created. That's what is the thing. Now here, you copy this and paste it here. Anyone having doubts, just stay there, okay? I'll clear your doubts after this, okay? I'll remove this line. Now will the thing work? I'll run this code and see whether the things are working or not. Am I getting the same output or not? Guys, am I getting the same output or not? Car from Honda, having model Amaze started, Honda Amaze 9.5 and all the stuff. These are Maruti details, these are Honda details. Everything is working fine still with simplified code. Okay. Now you can ask me the doubts, guys. You can ask me the doubts regarding
Hello, sir.
anything.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, starting from object creation, what is the advantage of creating object, and what is the why we are moving from object creation to method calling? Means for what advantage? From method calling to initialize the variables, what is the advantage we are moving on? From there onwards, what is the advantage? We are moving on constructors. It's give one by one ways.
Okay. First of all, why we need to create objects? Can you answer me? Why we have to create objects?
For a particular data.
No, that's not the main reason. Why we are creating objects in Java? To represent what?
To represent real world entities.
Real world entities. Whatever you see in this real world, if you want to get all these real world things into programming, that's a beautiful thing or not? That's a good thing or not? You see, the programming need to be involved with the real world activities, right? For example, there is a bank. You want to write some logic for bank. Bank will have a lot of stuff. Bank is HDFC Bank is there, ICICI Bank is there, Axis Bank is there. These are real world entities. Banks are real world entities. That real world entities, if I have to represent in programming, I need to create objects. But how to create objects? For that, I have to create a class, a template I have to create. So if I have to create real world objects, real world entities, like I have to create objects in Java programming, like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, or something kind of bank. If I want to create, I want a template. What template I want? Bank template I want. Okay, I'll create a bank template. Another example I'm telling. Bank template. In the bank template, I have to create variables and methods. Like, what will be there in the bank? String account type 1 is equal to savings. String account type 2 is equal to current account or whatever it is. String or else string account type. Let's say string, bank name, string bank location or something like that. Okay. So some details will give, and bottom what will give methods. What will be the methods actually? Deposit money into the bank, withdraw the money from the bank, transfer the money from one bank to another bank. These are all methods. Okay. Deposit a check into the bank. Okay. Close the account in the bank, open the account in the bank. All these are activities, right? All the activities will become methods in the class template. And for that class template, you will create objects here. Using the class template, you will create objects here because there are number of banks, not only one bank. You have to create objects. Every bank will be an object here. But to initialize the data for that particular object related data, if you want to initialize, what we'll do? We'll use an object reference. Okay. Using object reference, we'll initialize, right? And after initializing, there is a problem that if you have 5 variables, how many lines you have to write for every object to initialize? 5 lines. For every object, I have to write 5 lines. That's a problem. But if I don't want 5 lines, I want only 1 line. In place of 5 lines, I want only 1 line. Then what I have to do? Only 1 line I want to reduce to. Then what I have to do? I have to create a method to initialize. To initialize, I have to create a method. Using method, I want to initialize the variables. By passing this arguments, okay, from the method calling statement, we'll call the method in the template and then initialize the, pass it to the parameters and then initialize the global variables. Initialize the global variables, right?
Yes.
Once we initialize the global variables, we simply have to use 1 line or 5 lines now.
The 1 line.
Only 1 line. But I am saying that I don't even want that 1 line. Then how that is possible?
Through constructors.
I have to change the method to what? I have to convert the method into what?
Constructor.
Constructor. So automatically, without knowing, right, the constructor is being called here. Okay. When you are creating the object, you are calling a constructor. Without knowing, you don't know that you are calling a constructor here. Okay. But when you intentionally create a constructor here, these arguments that you are passing from the constructor calling statement will be passed to the parameters of the constructor and they'll get initialized. Is a constructor simplifying the initialization process or not?
Yes, sir.
So what is constructor? If someone asks you, do you have to use method here for initializing or constructor? Which one is better? Method for initializing the variables or constructor is better?
Constructor is better.
Why? Because the main purpose of the constructor is to simplify the initialization of the variables of the class. Able to understand? The main purpose of the constructor is to simplify the initialization of the variables of the class. Okay?
Yes.
So that's the reason we are heading to constructor. Okay? So tomorrow I'll repeat it again, guys. Don't worry. I'll repeat it again for the people who have not understood something, right? Don't worry. I'll repeat it again. Okay? So today you try to practice and tomorrow you come to the class. I'll repeat it again so that, okay, you'll understand this stuff. Okay? That's the thing.
Sir, do you
Yeah.
have a separate code, sir, for objects, for methods, and for constructors for the same?
I didn't get that. Come again.
Yeah, you have written from starting, right, sir, from for
Yeah. For
objects as
separate
well as
code I have written for object creation. Separate code I have written for method. I mean initialization using methods, and separate code I have for initializing using constructor also. The reason here is I want you guys to practice. Okay.
yeah. Thank you, sir. Then fine.
Yeah. I'll share that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Abhi. Okay. So these things I know very important. I'll repeat it if required. Not a problem, guys. There are a few more things that are coming up. Tomorrow I'll cover along with this repetition of the today's class tomorrow. And I'll cover a few more stuff. Okay. So any other doubts, guys? Any other doubts?
సార్ క్లాస్ కార్ లో ఒకటే కన్స్ట్రక్టర్ ఉందా చాలా ఉన్నాయా సార్ ఇప్పుడు
ఒకటే
కార్
constructor.
అంటే
Only
class
one
లో
constructor. Only one constructor.
అది పబ్లిక్ కార్ ఇప్పుడు హైలైట్ చేశారు అది కన్స్ట్రక్టర్
అదే yes, that is constructor. Right, correct.
అంటే ఇవి 2 డిఫరెంట్ క్లాసెస్ కదండి క్లాస్ కారు డెమో అనేది 2 డిఫరెంట్ క్లాసెస్ కదా
Yes, yes.
సో డెమో
Right.
అనే క్లాస్ లో మనం ఈ మెథడ్స్ ని డైరెక్ట్ గా కాల్ చేసేసాం ఏమి రిలేషన్ లేదనుకుంటాను రెండిటికి 2 క్లాసెస్ కి
Mm, car is one class. Demo is another class. Right. What is your question now? Tell me.
డెమో క్లాస్ లో మనము కార్ క్లాస్ లో ఉన్న మెథడ్స్ ని డైరెక్ట్ గా యూజ్ చేసాం అంటే ఎక్స్టెండ్స్ అట్లా ఏం చేసుకోలేదు
It's not required. It's not required. Okay. It's not required to extend because how we are accessing is with the help of object reference.
ఓకే జస్ట్
There are
ఆబ్జెక్ట్
multiple
క్రియేట్
ways. You are right. You are right. There are multiple ways. One way is by extending means inheritance concept. You are asking me, right? That inheritance concept will come later. Okay. For now,
ఓకే
this is a way to do it. Okay. So we are actually creating objects and using the object reference. We are calling these methods.
ఓకే ఓకే
The way
Okay,
we
sir.
are calling the methods of this particular class is by creating an object, and by using that object reference of that particular object, we are calling the methods. That's the way we are doing. Okay, that's the relation for now.
ఓకే ఓకే
Okay,
సార్
so going ahead,
Thank
you'll
you, sir.
understand more. Like going ahead, you'll understand more. Okay,
ఓకే ఓకే
so
సార్
this is just the
థ్యాంక్ యూ
beginning.
Sir, you,
This is just the beginning, guys. Okay, fine.
sir, you have created one constructor, right? We can create many as well, right?
Yeah, we can create multiple constructor also. That will cover later. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Upcoming concepts
Yeah.
are coming, so where you can create multiple constructors also, but that I will cover later. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure, sir.
Arun, this construct is like a global method, right?
You cannot call it as a global method. Constructor is a constructor only. It's like a method only. Okay. Constructor is similar to method, but while creating object only, constructor will be called. The difference between method
Yeah.
and constructor is, for calling the method, you have to explicitly use object reference and call it, right?
Yeah.
You're using object reference and explicitly calling the methods. But for constructor, are you
Yes.
explicitly using object reference and calling it? You are writing a separate line for the constructor calling? No.
No.
In the object
Okay.
creation only, the constructor is getting called. That's the main difference.
Yeah. Okay.
You got it right. So that difference
Yes,
we are
yes.
utilizing for initializing the variables. We don't have to even write a single line to initialize the variables. In the object creation statement itself, we are initializing the variables, right? So constructors are ultimately what the constructors are doing. They are simplifying the process of initializing the variables for us. That's the main intention of the constructors. Okay? Clear for you?
Yeah, without declaring that variables, can we declare the variables inside the constructor?
Why we have to do that? If you declare these variables inside the constructor, can other methods can access the variables? No, right?
No.
That's the
Okay,
problem.
okay.
They will become local variables for the
Understood.
constructor, and that will be a problem because we want all these variables to be accessed throughout the class.
Understood.
So it has to be global variables only.
Yes.
Understood, na? Yeah. So for everything
Okay.
there is a
Thank
answer. Okay. For everything there is an answer. Okay. So that's like that. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Sir,
Yeah.
we can initialize variables inside the method also, right, sir? Am I correct?
We can initialize the variables inside the methods. That's correct. We can do that. Correct.
Same thing we'll do in constructor also, right, sir?
Constructor also we can do the same thing. Right. Correct. But here in this case, we should not initialize the variables inside the constructor because the variables are needed for other methods. The variables will become local variables if you do so. If you create the variables If you declare the variables inside the constructor and initialize them inside the constructor only, what will happen?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get you. Can you
Okay,
please
so
go slow?
your question is what? Your question is initializing the variables inside the constructor. Already we are doing the same thing, right? But declaring we
Yes,
are doing outside.
okay.
Okay. These are global variables for a reason. Why? Because these global variables need to be accessed throughout the class, not just the constructor. That's why we are making global variables and we are initializing them in a constructor.
Okay. But
Okay.
for method, it should not happen like that. Like, am I correct, sir?
For methods means these methods you are
Means
saying?
within the method only we can initialize, sir.
There is no difference between constructor and method in terms of initializing. But the problem is this side. You have to see this side. This side the same thing. If you put method here, constructor here, doesn't matter. The solution that we are seeing is if you have a method in place of this constructor, if you have a method, what will happen? Have to call this method separately in a separate line. HAMZ dot initialize some method name I have to give and then pass these arguments to that particular method. Inside the method only we are initializing, right? But if you replace that method with a constructor, what's happening? You don't have to write that separate line. You just call this constructor. Automatically while creating object only, you are calling the constructor, right? In that constructor calling statement only, you are passing the arguments. That one line will be reduced. But there is no difference between a method and constructor.
Okay, sir, got it.
Only
Sir, one
difference
more
between
thing.
method and constructor is the name of the constructor will be same as the name of the class and return type won't be there for the constructor. Remaining all same as method only. Remaining everything is same as method only. There is no difference between a constructor and a method. Everything is same. Only the difference between a method and constructor is the name of the constructor should match with the name of the class and the return type of the constructor will not be there. For methods, return type will be there. At least void will be there or some data type will be there. But here for constructor, nothing will be there. That is the main difference. And another difference here is the constructors will be automatically called when you create an object, but methods will be automatically called when you create an object. Will the methods will be automatically called when the objects are created? Will that happen?
No, sir.
No, that is not possible, right? For the methods to be called, we have to say HAMZD and start the and call the method like start car, like the way you have called the methods, right? HAMZ dot initialize the car or something like that. You have to call the method. But here for constructor, are you explicitly calling the method? Are you
Yes.
explicitly calling the constructor? No. While creating object only, constructor is being called. Apart from there is no difference between a constructor and a method. Everything is same. Same concept applies for method and constructor. Okay?
Okay. Sir, one more thing, small thing.
Yeah.
Sir, here, the current code is of 2 codes are in 2 lines. తెలుగులో చెప్తాను సార్. ఇక్కడ మీరు
I didn't get that. I didn't get that. Come again. Can you speak loud?
ఇక్కడ మీరు 2 స్క్రీన్స్ చేశారు కదా సార్, అంటే
There are 2 screens, right? Yeah.
కొంచెం స్లోగా చూపిస్తారు ఎలా నేను కూడా ట్రై చేస్తాను.
I didn't get that again. Come again. So
అంటే
there are 2 screens.
2 కోడ్స్ రాశారు కదా సార్, సెపరేట్ పక్క పక్కన.
అవునవును. Yeah.
అవి కొంచెము నిదానంగా చూపిస్తారా? నేను మీ క్లాసెస్ అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తున్నాను కానీ నేను ట్రై చేస్తుంటే రావట్లేదు నాకు.
Okay. Okay. So you mean to say instead of 2 files, if you want to go with single file, is that correct?
అది కాదు సార్, మీరు ఇక్కడ రెండు కోడ్లు రాశారు కదా సార్, పక్క పక్కన ఉన్నాయి కదా, అవి డ్రాగ్ చేస్తున్నారు కదా, ఎక్కడి నుంచి డ్రాగ్ చేస్తున్నారు చూపిస్తే కొంచెం మేము ట్రై చేస్తాం.
Okay. You want to see how I am doing that, right?
Yes sir.
Like here.
అంటే ఈ రెండు
If I close this, for example, if I close this, right? If I close this, okay, if I close this, now there are 2 classes. I'll open one class, car class. Now I'll open the another class, demo class. Now 2 classes are there here, right? Class and demo.
Okay.
I just need to drag this side. Like if I drag like this, it will come down. If I drag like this, it will go to the right side. Just drop it.
Okay, sir.
The once you see that suggestions, right? Just drop it. Now you can create one more class, drag it down. At a time, you can see in a single view 4 classes also, if you want. And if you want to resize, you see, you can do like this, okay? Like this, okay? And also you can minimize this if you want to see in a big view, okay? Up to you. Now, is it clear?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I think that is the question, right? Fine. Okay. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Guys, any other questions you have?
Arun, just for a clarification, I'm asking this.
Yeah, no problem. Ask.
The constructor which we have used is car one. Previously, we had the initialization without params. To have the params to be passed, just we are declaring purpose, we are using that here, right, in the class car.
Didn't get your question. Come again.
Okay, for using
Earlier,
that
we
one,
are creating a method. Okay, public initialize.
that and all I am clear.
Yeah,
Just
I'll
for,
say init car or
just to
something. I'll say init car. I'll give otherwise simple name. Okay, init car. Let's say. Okay, this is a method name. Okay, in the method name, I'll give the same parameters again. Okay, and I'm doing the same thing here also. The method also I'm doing the same thing. Method will have a return type void. Okay, constructor will not have return type, and the name of the constructor will match with the name of the class. Method can have a different name apart from the class name. You can have different name here, and return type will be there. This is the only difference between method and a constructor. Okay, now so in this code, now I can initialize with the help of a method. Now I can initialize with the help of the constructor. If I have to initialize with the help of method, what I have to do? I have to write like this: hamz dot that method I have to call. Init car method I have to call, and I have to pass all these arguments to this particular method. Okay, like this also I can initialize. Okay, with the method I have to initialize like this, but with the constructor I don't need this line. Here anyhow constructor calling statement is already there in the object creation. I just need to pass the arguments here. This constructor will be called here. Okay, that's the only difference. Now ask your question. Is it same or
no, what just it's actually we use the constructor for creating the object. So
no, we don't use constructor to. The purpose of the constructor is not to create the object.
then
The
we
purpose
use
of the
the new
constructor is to
car.
simplify the. You see what we are doing is first of all we are using the new keyword. Okay, for creating an object. New car. This much is enough actually. Okay, to create an object, this much is enough. But as per the syntax of Java, we are supplying here circular brackets and putting a semicolon. Okay, so now you see when I'm giving this circular brackets, right, error is coming. Why? Because here we have a constructor already created. Earlier it was fine, right? Now we are getting an error. So here now you can create one constructor, public car, empty constructor you create. Now the error will be gone. Is it gone?
Yeah, yes.
That means earlier also I have written this one when this particular constructor was not there. When the constructor was not there, when I created, the error was not coming. But this code is there or not earlier? Earlier this code was not there or not? Initially when I created the objects, was this code available? No, right?
No, it was not there.
But still error was not coming, right? Even this code was not there also, error was not coming. The reason behind that is Java internally maintains this constructor for us. This constructor will be internally created by Java. For every class, there will be a constructor hidden empty default constructor will be there in the code that we will not see. Java will maintain for us. You can explicitly create, or if you don't create also, no problem. The moment you say new car, right, nothing happened earlier also. The object got created, but here constructor was also constructor calling statement was already there. But how can the constructor calling statement be there without the constructor available in the class? Because Java is internally maintaining a empty hidden constructor for us. And empty means no code will be there. Hidden means not visible.
Okay.
Internally. Okay. But the moment you create a constructor, an explicit constructor with some parameters, then these things will not work. You must create an explicit constructor, empty hidden explicit constructor for such kind of stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Now you're getting my point, right?
We are overriding the already existing method.
Yeah. That's it. Overriding, you cannot say overriding. That is a different thing. Okay. I'll tell you later. Okay. It's a different concept.
Got it.
Got it, right?
Yeah. Right.
So this thing I'll repeat tomorrow also. Okay. So fine. If you have not understood, just let me know. Okay. I will again start from basic things, how things happen with constructor concept. I'll start and then explain this concept. You will understand again. Okay.
ఎస్
know
సార్
this.
మాకు మెథడ్ ఐడియా ఉంది కన్స్ట్రక్టర్ కొత్తగా ఉంది సార్
Yeah,
దాని
it
గురించి
will, it will be new for you, but the main purpose of the constructor, this is a method, this is a constructor. Now you can have both method and constructor. Only difference is constructor don't have return type. Okay, here return type is not there, method has a return type. Okay, and the name of the method is different from the class name. Name of the constructor should be same as the class name. Okay, that is the difference. And here initialization part will become easy with method or constructor. For method I have to write a separate line. For constructor I don't have to write a separate line. Okay, these few things are the things you have to take. Now we don't need this method, right? Any constructor is anyhow there for initializing. Okay, I'll remove that. Okay, but I will repeat tomorrow a bit so that more things, okay, you will understand it better way. Okay, in terms of constructor I'll explain tomorrow. Fine.
ఓకే థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్
Yeah, fine. Any other questions, guys? Guys, any other questions? Fine. Great, guys. Great. Fine. So that's all for today. Tomorrow we'll meet and continue with the same concept, and I'll explain. I'll emphasize more on the constructors tomorrow. Okay, and explain the same logic again. I'll share you this codes, 3 variations of the code, and with just classes and objects. One set I'll share you, and constructors another set I'll share you, and or else I'll share you simply project. You can go here to the classes, object, and constructors, and initialize with 3 sections you can see from the project code. Okay, so fine. Let's see. I'll just take care. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, you can leave the meeting, guys. Okay, I'll start sharing the notes now. If you have any questions, you can ask me. You can be there in the class and you can ask me also. I'll give an assignment also. Try to do it. Try it at least. Okay, it's not compulsory you have to do, but I'll try to do it. Okay, so today's notes. Today's notes same as yesterday's notes. Yes, right. Same as yesterday's notes only. Methods, yeah. Today's notes same as yesterday's and day before yesterday's notes. Okay, so no need to share the notes again. And the next thing is code I have to share. I'll just close all this stuff. Then right click, properties, go to the project location,